We have some major news tonight as Donald Trump addressed the nation about the war in Iran, made several bombastic claims which are easily disproved. The orangutan in chief is clearly lost his mind while trying to spin the truth and convince Americans that this war is going well. At the same time, Iran responded to his speech by dropping dozens of missiles on Israel, Bahrain, and other Arab allies of the United States in this disastrous war, just as a signal to the American people that not so fast. Iran is in this for the long haul. All that and more on today's episode of the Daily Rumble. Before we get started, if you wouldn't mind doing me a huge favor and comment down below, "Stop this war." Now, as we move forward into some of the things that I want to show you today and we're going to discuss, I want you to keep one thing in mind, and that is that this is a war of choice by the United States, and therefore you can bring it to an end. That's right. Every American should be raising their voice, saying "not in my name," and voting out anybody this November who supports this war or Israel in general. Now let's just jump right into what we have lined up for you right now.
I've made clear from the beginning of Operation Epic Fury that we will continue until our objectives are fully achieved. Thanks to the progress we've made, I can say tonight that we are on track to complete all of America's military objectives shortly, very shortly. We're going to hit them extremely hard over the next 2 to 3 weeks. We're going to bring them back to the Stone Ages where they belong.
Now let that sink in. Donald Trump is saying that the United States is going to bomb Iran back to the Stone Ages where they belong. That is genocidal rhetoric. And the fact that he is literally saying this on live TV, giving all of the evidence for future prosecution of this man to literally lay out the case and make it an open and shut case where he is found guilty of committing war crimes, all you have to do is listen to the rhetoric that is coming out of his mouth. And he lays it out, pinpoint of what he intends to do. At the same time, he claims that he's having these good faith negotiations with the new regime, but is then saying that we're going to bomb them into the Stone Ages. You literally can't make this up.
In the meantime, discussions are ongoing. Regime change was not our goal. We never said regime change, but regime change has occurred because of all of their original leaders' death. They're all dead.
Yeah, and now you have leaders who just really don't give a damn, and they are all about revenge and bloodlust right now. So congratulations with that, genius. It's like War 101. You don't assassinate the only people that you can negotiate with unless you want to end up in a protracted war.
The new group is less radical and much more reasonable.
Yeah, much more reasonable. They sent like 50 rockets and missiles to the Middle East in Israel and your clown petro states over there.
Yet if during this period of time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets.
Now here's where the admission to future war crimes comes from.
If there is no deal, we are going to hit each and every one of their electric generating plants very hard and probably simultaneously. We have not hit their oil, even though that's the easiest target of all, because it would not give them even a small chance of survival or rebuilding.
Now, both of those are civilian infrastructures. Yes, the military and the government does benefit from them, but they are strictly off limits according to international law of war, which has been agreed upon in the UN. And this is to protect innocent women and children and the elderly from becoming casualties of a war through starvation, disease, etc. By knocking out civilian infrastructure like energy plants, people will literally not have water and will die within 3 days of it. Because if you don't know, Tehran, which is a city of 10 million people, relies on electric pumps to bring water in from faraway places. If those go down, 10 million people could perish within weeks.
But we could hit it, and it would be gone, and there's not a thing they could do about it. They have no anti-aircraft equipment. Their radar
How do they keep shooting down our drones then?
is 100% annihilated. We are unstoppable as a military force.
Now, there's no doubt that the United States military armada and the buildup that we have there is significant, and Iran in the short term doesn't stand a chance against our Air Force or our Navy. But what they are waiting for is the stupidity of the orange orangutan in charge here of trying to send in boots on the ground, because they already have received tens of thousands of volunteers from the Iraqi Shia community that are just waiting to have open combat with our Marines, Army, and Special Forces. Now, yes, they will take a ton of casualties, but so will we, because they will have the home turf and they will have the terrain that they know like the back of their hands to use against us. And that is what their whole operation is based around. They know that they can't fight us in an open confrontation like Iraq. What they have to do is draw us in, like in Afghanistan, to a mountainous region where they have the home field advantage and can literally just lay in wait and ambush us to death.
The nuclear sites that we obliterated with the B-2 bombers have been hit so hard that it would take months to get near the nuclear dust, and we have it under intense satellite surveillance and control.
So again, I mean, he literally just negated the whole reason why we went to war, is because we were originally told that despite the attack 6 months ago where he said all of their nuclear capabilities was wiped out and completely done and any other narrative was just fake news, now he's saying the same thing, because then he came and told us, oh, it's because they were trying to get a nuclear weapon. They were going to get one. They were going to drop a nuke on us. That's why we had to start this war. But now he's saying that they're completely obliterated. So why are we still there? Why are we still bombing them? Why are we creating more future enemies? That's the question.
If we see them make a move, even a move for it, we'll hit them with missiles very hard again. We have all the cards. They have none.
So, I mean, again, he's literally defeating his own argument for why we're there. Absolutely insane. This is the response from Iran. So this was just in Bahrain, again, attacking the Fifth Fleet Naval Base of the United States in Bahrain. Here we have some damage from Tel Aviv, taking more hits from Iran. We're getting reports of dozens injured in that one, possible deaths, but we know Israel always hides those. And this is how the Israeli settlers treat the Palestinians in their own land. Now, I'm not going to show the rest of this because it will get banned on YouTube, but it gets pretty graphic. Use your imagination. The Israelis are not the good guys here. They're just not. There's way too much video evidence. These aren't even soldiers, guys. These are just regular Israelis running around like psychopathic gang members, just murdering people in the street. Consequently, Israel just passed a law to start executing Palestinian prisoners, most of whom never get a fair trial or even accused of anything. They're just arrested and incarcerated for years, sometimes decades. And now Israel is going to start executing them by public hangings. And I can imagine where they're going to be doing those public hangings. It's most likely going to be in places like East Jerusalem, as well as the West Bank.
Sirens we've had here in Tel Aviv within the last 10 minutes. As President Trump says Iran has asked for a ceasefire, we are witnessing nonstop pressure still being applied by Iran.
That's on the ground. This is a real reporter. It is not AI telling the truth, that while Donald Trump is telling the nation as well as the world that Iran is decimated, they're not a bully anymore of the Middle East, they're not going to be able to continue to project power, they're literally launching dozens and dozens and dozens of ballistic missiles on Israel as we speak.
Time no deal is made, we have our eyes on key targets.
And here we have another example of why Israel is not the most moral army in the world. This is actual Israeli military. You can see the flag on his arm here of Israel. And this is a Palestinian man. They turn him away and tell him to walk away from them. He begins walking away from them, holding his hands up, back turned, and yeah, they execute him.
No! תוריד אליהם, תוריד, רוח רגיל, יאללה. רוח כבר!
They shoot him in the back. They giggle, and then they walk away. Now, I can't show you the actual moment that they shoot him, obviously, because of this YouTube thing, but I will have it on my Substack uncensored so that you guys can see the brutality that the Israeli government, military, and people inflict upon unarmed men, women, and children every single day.
We've beaten and completely decimated Iran. They are decimated, both militarily and economically and every other way. And the country.
Watching the Supreme Court, Israel is being pounded by Iran. Sirens sounding over Tel Aviv as a barrage of missiles hit the nation. Let's bring in Jonathan Hunt with more. Jonathan.
Kaylee, Israel in general and Tel Aviv in particular have been under almost constant bombardment throughout the day today.
But hey, you know, according to Donald Trump, Iran is completely decimated and they have absolutely nothing left. We've already won this war. Now we're just going to bomb them into the Stone Age just because that's where they belong to be. Yeah. Genocidal rhetoric from a madman, orange orangutan, who simply doesn't understand the word reality and what that actually means, because he obviously lives in an alternate reality made up in his own mind. Iran, while they have taken an absolute beating from the United States and Israel Air Force and naval assets, they are by no means out of this fight whatsoever. And the thing about Iran, if you know their history, they literally fought a 8-year war with Iraq, and they suffered 1 million casualties, and they were not waving any white flag. They were willing to keep going. It was actually Iraq who finally said, enough is enough. We're done fighting you. You guys are crazy and you just won't stop. And we've lost hundreds of thousands of people as well. And we're bankrupt because of this. So we're done. We're done fighting you. So that's the adversary that the United States has chosen to get into a firefight with, is a society who simply would rather die than capitulate. Simple as that.
I wasn't aware that the government, the secular government of Israel, owned the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I believe, talking to people in Jerusalem this morning, that there were no synagogues completely closed. And
So this is for all of the Christian viewers, and send this to some Christian MAGA extremist because they need to see this, right? Israel is not their friend. They treat the Christians almost as bad as they treat the Muslims.
And we know that the Church of the Holy Sepulchre was not closed during the last 2 world wars. The idea was to have a Catholic leader and 3 others in there for a live stream service, and that was banned. So it's hard to understand how this was done for safety reasons. Where does this authority come from that you can just close someone else's church?
Well, I don't think it is true authority. It's basically totalitarian saying, we've got the power, we've got the bombs, we can do what we want.
And that is the whole point of all of this. Israel is ran by a Jewish extremist, racist, bigoted government. Full stop. And this might get this video taken down, but I don't care. At the end of the day, they are ran by a terroristic, suicidal, psychotic government. And if you don't understand that, if you still think that these people are your friends, that they are the friends, that we have this Judeo-Christian alliance with them, that's not how they see it. That's not how they see it at all. And the whole premise of people saying that the United States was founded on this Judeo-Christian values is complete nonsense. There was no mention of Judeo-Christian values whatsoever in the Constitution or the Articles or any writings of the founding fathers. Why? Because it's a New Age made-up term after the birth of the nation state called Israel. That term is less than 70 years old. So how does a country nearly 250 years old, how was it founded on Judeo-Christian values when nobody even knew what that was or believed in that whatsoever prior to organizations like the Anti-Defamation League, like AIPAC? No Christians ever had it come out of their mouth that they were a Judeo-Christian. They were just Christian for a couple thousand years. End of story. That's all I got for you now. Please like, follow, comment in the war. Stay safe. Stay free.